Hi there. I see you're holding a sign here. Let me get a shot of that. It's no NDAA, get up, stand up for the Bill of Rights. What's that all about?
Well, we are here to support a lawsuit, Hedges versus Obama. Basically, what's going on right now is they have taken NDAA 2012 to court about the indefinite detention part for citizens. It's unconstitutional, and they're trying it in court today about how unconstitutional it is, and the judge has put a block on the indefinite detention part of it at this time.
Now let me get around here so I can get you better.
Okay.
Sunlight. What do you mean the judge has put a block on it?
The judge has has put a cease and desist on indefinite detention.
Oh, well, that's a good thing, isn't it?
Oh, we have a talker out there. Here, okay, what other questions do you have?
Well, that's a good thing is they put a block on it.
Yeah, they did, but the Obama's administration has decided that they don't want to respect that block on it at this time.
I see.
So they have it in court, and they have to produce evidence why they shouldn't have a block on it.
Mm-hmm.
And people like Tangerine Bowman have asked everyone to come out and.
Hey, honey. Thank you.
Spider! Tell Spider there's a sign, she can make a sign, and there's pens in a sign in Phil's car. Okay, sorry.
Let me ask you a question. I voted for Obama in 2008. Did you?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think it was a bait and switch on this guy, because it seems like since then, a lot of the things that he has done, his administration has done, including the NDAA, goes against the very thing that I thought he stood for.
The fiber of this nation, it's actually, they've been destroying the fiber of this nation by destroying the Bill of Rights. One by one, they've been taking away our rights, and the American citizens seem to be asleep or not paying attention to it. They've changed free speech to free speech zones. They're trying to take away everyone's weapons. They're trying to take away your right to have a fair trial, and they've taken away your right to unreasonable search and seizure. So, we're getting less and less rights, and corporations are taking over more. And it seems like our system, our political system, has been bought by major corporations, and Republican or Democrat, it makes no difference. They're the same people selling the same goods.
Dare I say that we are fast becoming a fascist state? Is that a fair statement, do you think?
Well, I have family members who survived the Holocaust, and they describe the situation in the United States as pre-Nazi Germany time. You know, right before the poo hit the fan with Nazi Germany. Right. It's about the same type of atmosphere, where they keep tightening the noose around the neck of the citizens, and the citizens seem to not even notice or ask for that noose to be tightened, because they think it's going to bring them safety or prosperity. It's not. It's going to take away their safety, and it's going to take away their prosperity. Yeah.
Well, now that you mentioned that, the Holocaust and Nazi Germany, you know, people look back and they say, well, what was the matter with the Germans that they didn't know what was going on, that they didn't speak out?
What my grandparents told me was Nazis didn't come and drag them out of their house and beat them. The German people did. Yeah. It's the people who comply with the government and comply with the policies. Those are the people who are doing this.
Do you see that happening in this country?
It's starting to happen.
People being ignorant about what's going on, and
they're
going
ignorant,
along with
and they want to be ignorant, and that's the problem. You can't have an agreement to be ignorant to the wrongdoings of your country. When we're dropping bombs on children and using drones against people and starting war after war after war unreasonably, we're also, you know, we're doing we're doing preemptive strikes.
Yep. Yep.
That's exactly what Nazi Germany did, was preemptive strikes. These are inhumane, these are illegal, these are wrong. It goes against, like something like indefinite detention goes against all of the Geneva Convention rules.
Right. Yep. Well, all right. Well, listen, I won't keep any more. Thanks so much for talking with me. And it sounds like you know a lot about what's going on, and I imagine you're doing your best to inform others, right?
Well, every day I try to get up and I try to tell people what's going on. Some people look at me like I'm crazy. Other people listen. Some people just nod their head and pretend they don't understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Well, keep up the good fight.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Hi there. What's your name and where are you from?
Spider Orengoth. I am from Wisconsin. I've been living in Fort Wayne for 8 years.
8 years in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Well, I dare say Fort Wayne probably has a little more decent weather than Wisconsin these days.
A little bit.
A little bit. Yeah. Listen, let me see your sign there. Hedges versus Obama. Say no to indefinite detention without trial or attorney for American citizens. I hear a lot of talk about this Hedges. Who is Hedges?
Hedges.
Is that Chris Hedges?
Chris Hedges, from what I understand, was somebody who took the extraordinary rendition plans that Bush had enacted and Obama had reenacted and took Obama to court for it.
Oh my goodness, he and Noam Chomsky out here. Yeah, well, so what's this NDAA stuff about?
The NDAA is basically, like I said, the extraordinary rendition, the further continuance of extraordinary rendition, which allows the president or probably anybody in the executive branch, FBI, CIA, to hold anybody indefinitely.
Could they hold you?
Oh yeah, they can arrest anybody for anything, and especially anyone that they deem as a foreign threat, as a domestic threat. Whether you're going out and holding this sign right here, walking down the street, or carrying a gun to blow up a building, you know, it's just everything.
That sounds pretty extreme. They wouldn't do that, would they?
They wouldn't do that, huh? Well, I don't know about that.
So what is Chris Hedges, Noam Chomsky, and I guess 5 other people that are suing the Obama administration, what are they wanting to have happen?
I think they're wanting to have it repealed.
I see.
Repealed completely. And honestly, this is the NDAA is also just another feature of the Patriot Act, I also believe, because through the NDAA, the U.S. has been declared a war zone. A war zone. Right here. Well, I can think about a couple ways that it could be a war zone, but it's not the ways that they would think it's a war zone, honestly.
Yeah.
Because we do have class conflict, we do have poverty, we do have people who are hungry, underhoused, and whatever. That in itself, I guess you could say, is a war, and it's certainly more important than this war that they keep, like the wars that they keep up all over the world, with our bases all over the world. So, you know.
So I understand that's going to court today, is it?
Yes, it is.
Ah, so it could be happening right now as we speak. Well, it'll be interesting to find out what happens.
It will, and you know, if we win, if this case is won by Chris Hedges, then either way we've got a lot of work to do, because if we can win this and we can repeal the Patriot Act and get all that ridiculous stuff out of the way, because even with this knocked down, the Patriot Act is still enacted, and that's still a danger to American freedom as we know it.
All right, well, listen, thanks very much for talking with me, Spider.
Thank you.
And keep up the good fight.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I got out of bed.
Good God, you're a terrorist? What's going on here?
Well, according to my government, simply protesting the government could be considered an act of terrorism. No violence needs to be applied whatsoever. They need to give no definition. Because I oppose my government, I'm a terrorist. And because you have engaged a terrorist in conversation, unless you call the police to report that there's a terrorist activity taking place right now, you are aiding and abetting terrorism. Therefore, according to my government, you are a terrorist too.
I'm calling 911 right now.
You should. That is what the government wants you to do.
Good. Thank you very much.
Have a good day, sir. Thank
I'll see you at Gitmo. The courthouse, yeah.
Or does that mess it up being in that angle?
Okay, we're recording now.
Okay.
Hi, what's your name and where do you live?
My name is Phil Marks, and I live here in Fort Wayne most of the time. Out of town a lot, but...
I see you're holding a sign, you're a terrorist. Is that true?
According to the government, it is.
Oh, yeah?
According to the government, today, in court, during the first hearing of Hedges versus Obama, the government made it clear, through what they said, specifically what they didn't say, what kind of questions they refused to answer, that basically opposing the government in any way could be considered an act of terrorism. Exercising your First Amendment rights to inform other Americans about what is going on, about your opposition to the government, could be considered an act of terrorism. Martin Luther King, the tactics he used, could be considered an act of terrorism by today's government. So I proudly state that yes, according to that, I am a terrorist because I'm opposed to that, and that makes me a terrorist.
Whoa, 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 wait a minute. This sounds like Nazi Germany.
Well, you want to get more serious? The fact that I've just admitted to you that I'm a terrorist, unless you call the police to report that, that would mean that you're associating with and abetting a known terrorist, which would make you a terrorist, according to the government. That is how messed up this law, the National Defense Authorization Act, which allows the President of the United States unilaterally, without congressional or judicial oversight, to declare any American to be a terrorist and put them in prison for life without ever charging them with a crime, without ever having a trial. They use the term terrorism to evoke the image of people blowing up buildings and killing innocent people. But in fact, through their own words, their refusal to give any definition to the word terrorism, it could apply to anyone and anything. So the government has basically said, if we don't like you, we can do whatever we like to you. But don't worry, we'll only use this for bad people.
Yeah, well, I understand that this is being challenged in court someplace.
Yeah, the lawsuit, I think it came up a few months ago, first went to a federal judge and was overturned. And then the Obama administration appealed and had it reversed. And now I think this is the third phase, and it's still in a federal court. I think, but I'm not an expert on this, but I think the Supreme Court may be the next and final stop after this. And I expect whichever way it goes, most likely it will appeal to that level. I don't think either side will back down.
Is that why all of you are out here today, because of the court hearing today?
Yeah, Jane, Pluto, and a few others to bring attention to the Hedges versus Obama. It's Chris Hedges, a former journalist with the New York Times, I believe. Noam Chomsky, a very well-known journalist. 7 people in total, journalists, activists. None one of them, no one has ever said anything to credibly suggest that any of them have done anything violent against anyone, let alone the federal government. But according to the federal government, through the transcripts of the trial, you can see that the government considers them possibly, wants to hold the right to consider them as terrorists for doing things like interviewing members of Al-Qaeda and informing us, the American people, of what these people say. We're not talking about divulging secret information.
Right.
We're just talking about disseminating ideas, letting the enemy tell us why they're our enemy in their opinion, and let us evaluate whether they're nuts or whether we think that means we need to change U.S. policy. See, the thing is, there used to be a time where seeking to oppose and change government policy was considered an act of democracy.
Yeah,
and today
patriotic,
it is considered an act of terrorism by the government. And if this case withstands the judicial test, there's no way with a straight face you can call this a free country anymore.
Right.
It's totally written off, because this effectively nullifies the Bill of Rights. Without the Bill of Rights, the Constitution is meaningless. It's just total tyranny from there on. and it's just a matter of time before they start enacting it in large ways.
Well, you know, one of the things we're working on here in Fort Wayne is to get an ordinance passed to prohibit the overflight of drones that will spy on people.
I've heard about that. I looked at your ordinance. We talked on that some. I agree with that, and that does tie into this very much so.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
You know, this law authorizes the creation of a police state.
Yep.
I mean, what you had in Nazi Germany, what you had in Soviet Russia, what you had in Pinochet's Chile, that is what we are institutionalizing at this moment if this case passes. From there, it's just a matter of what technology do you use to enforce those measures. You know, do you use tanks, do you use drones? And yeah, they're going to fly drones overhead, the same drones that kill innocent people in Pakistan, and we either say, whoops, sorry, mistakes happen, or we just flat out lie and say, well, if someone was there in those mountains, they must have been a terrorist. The 3,000 drones that they, no, 30,000 drones that they estimate will be flying over American skies within the decade, now they say that some of them may be armed with, quote, non-lethal force. Non-lethal force includes
rubber bullets.
The rubber bullets that killed the people at Kent State.
Yeah.
The
tear gas.
Tear gas canister that busted open Scott Olson's skull. Okay, non-lethal weapon is a misnomer. It doesn't exist. Just like a benevolent dictatorship does not exist.
I hear you.
So they're playing games with words. They say terrorism, but they don't give any definition. They say associated forces, they don't give any definition. It's, we're heading way in the wrong direction.
What do you expect's going to happen in court? Well, I think it was supposed to go to court 10 o'clock this morning.
I'm not an expert. I mean, a lot of that depends on, I mean, everyone likes to think we have, you know, the judges follow the law, period. But, I mean, if that was the case, there wouldn't be a need for a trial. You know, everything that goes before any court, even up to the Supreme Court, there's opinions put in there. That's why some of them rule one way, some the other way. So I don't even know the individual judges that are hearing this case. All I know is the first federal judge that heard it voted against the administration. The second panel of 3 judges voted for the administration. And I'm pretty sure that whichever way this goes, the other side will appeal it. I don't think either side would accept a ruling against them. So.
All right. Well, listen, anything else you want to say, Phil?
Just that, I mean, I know it's disheartening to a lot of people. People come out and protest, people try to engage their friends on social media, and sometimes they feel like it's going nowhere, but it does. It's a little bit at a time. Just everybody keep doing what you do, whatever your issue is.
Exactly.
But keep talking about it, you know, and if you find people aren't listening, well, just leave that area for a while, you know, go to another area. But keep on talking about things that matter to you, try to engage other people, and I think on most major issues, most people still are uninformed. It's not that they think this way or that way. If you ask average person on the street right now, what do you think about NDAA? And then even if you spelled it out, National Defense
what?
National Defense Authorization Act, I think the majority of them would say, I'm not sure, well, I think I heard something about it, you know. So you got to get people informed and engage people. Try to do it in a polite way, you know, try to say, well, do you think this is a good law? Don't you see how this could go wrong? Instead of, you know, being in their face. Sort of, you know?
Exactly. I agree with that 100%. All right, Phil. Well, thanks very much for talking with me, and good luck, and keep up a good fight.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.